These are some Dinar Guru updates. Starting off with Pimpy, let's get clarity about what's really going on over there in Iraq in regards to the decline of the Iraqi dinar. Everybody knows the coordinating framework. Maliki and all his friends do the bidding of Iran. The currency auctions were being used as a way to funnel money into Iran when Iran is under sanctions. This is a big no-no. So they sanctioned a lot of these people, but they were still able to smuggle money. It's very, very profitable for somebody like Maliki, who owns a bank and is a high-ranking, very powerful, influential politician within Iraq. Unfortunately, when your politicians do these types of things and the United States can't find a way to stop what's going on, they'll take it out on the citizens of their country. Pimpy goes on to say the issue with the currency is this: there's not enough United States dollars in Iraq. Since dollar smuggling was so out of control, the United States decided to limit the amount of dollars, putting the squeeze on the US dollar, which is in high demand in Iraq. Legally, you're only supposed to get $14.50, now $13.10 dinars for every US dollar. On the black market, people were swapping the US dollar for around 1,700 dinars because the dollars were so scarce and people in other countries' trade goods wanted the dollar. This was causing the huge gap between the official rate and the market rate, so cash smuggling or laundering becomes really profitable. So they're trying to put a crackdown on that. Alright, Militiaman says Iraq was on the blacklist, then it was moved to a gray list, and then just yesterday, day before, they were moved from that gray list by the European Union to the white area. At the same time, there were things going on in Washington, D.C. Mark Z via PDK in Iraq, quote, a significant decline in currency auction sales to the Central Bank of Iraq, unquote. Mark Z says, why is this so important? It appears that the rate change is starting to work. What they are wanting to do is keep dinar in the hands of the citizens instead of U.S. dollars. Then when there is a reinstatement, the people will benefit from it. Over the weekend, we did see some interesting things. There's a big difference between the official CBI rate and Forex rate to the market rates in the region. Anywhere from 500 plus dinars to $1 to the official 1,300. The dollar purchases are down 62% as of today. I was looking for a more substantial rate change, lower than the 1,300 before we see the big rate change. But maybe this will be enough for them before they do the big change. Walking Stick via Frank26, in my opinion, these meetings that they had with private banks, with the CBI bank itself, they turned over the exchange rate. They were all agreed upon at the onset, at least 1-to-1. That's extremely important in order for the float to work properly. All right, Sandy Ingram, the Iraqi cabinet set the official exchange rate at 1,300 Iraqi dinars per 1 US dollar. The change is based on the Central Bank of Iraq's suggestion/recommendation. The previous rate was at 1460 Iraqi dinar to $1. The Iraqi dinar has lost more than 10% of its value in recent months because of pressure from the United States to stop the flow of dollars to countries under U.S. sanctions, Iran and Syria. This is not the end of the road, far from it, but the beginning. For years, the official rate was 1182 dinars. Iraq's central bank devalued the dinar in December of 2020 to 1460 dinars per dollar. We are viewing this 1,300 rate change as a return to the pre-COVID exchange rate plus or minus inflation. All right, Nader from the Mideast says, I still believe the budget has nothing to do with the rate. The economy has to do with the rate. The private sector has to do with the rate. But the budget has nothing to do with the rate. The budget is for the country. It's not for outside the country. Mark Z via PDK says they are still trying to level. They're still trying their level best to get the U.S. dollars off the street and dinar back in the hands of the people. I am still being told this is in preparation for a meaningful change in the rate. There is still a lot of speculation as to whether it will come out 1-to-1 and float or whether it will come out at a higher rate. The majority of my contacts think we will get a contract rate and then be done. Nice and simple. Mark Z goes on to say, but most all agreed that it will come out 1-to-1 first if there's a float, and I was told by the overwhelming majority of my contacts that at the meeting last week with UST, the rate was set. The plan has been set. We just need to know the timing. All my Iraqi sources, European sources, US sources tell me the rate was decided, it was finalized, everything was put in concrete during those DC meetings. Now we need to see it. All right, Claire article quote, the government sets a week to complete the 2023 budget according to the new exchange rate. We will approve it in one session. Quote, the Iraqi government revealed on Wednesday that the Ministry of Finance has begun to re-prepare the general budget for the 2023 according to the new exchange rate, 130,000 dinars per $100. And lastly, oh, I'm sorry, not lastly again. Okay, Pimpy says with the currency being stolen by the corrupt politicians and terrorists, there's no way they're going to revalue the currency to $3.22. Most likely when the time comes and they're really right back on track, you're going to see them redenominate the currency and it's going to go up in increments. Do I think it could get to the $3.22 rate? Of course I do. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. I'm saying it's possible to get to the $3.22 rate. They just have to make sure to stop doing all the bad things that keep setting them back. All right, Mountain Goat article quote, Member of Parliamentary Energy, a semi-official agreement on the oil and gas law, unquote. Mountain Goat says, as I stated many times already, the new 2005 Iraqi constitution states there shall be referendum passed in Parliament on instituting the conditions of the Constitution to manage the oil and gas. This is called now the oil and gas law. Seems anytime we get news of a rate change, this law pops up in the news. Why? I was told that back in 2011 this law is necessary to reinstate the dinars, as are all provisions in the Constitution must first be met, including this one. Funny how it always comes up when they're getting ready to reinstate the dinar. And lastly, Mark Z via PDK question, why would Iraq be printing new high security currency if they were not going to be worth much more? Mark Z says exactly, we can get back up years and see all the lower denoms that have been printed. The central bank announces the imminent introduction of large quantities of lower denominations of the currency. This article was from 2018. They paid millions and millions of dollars to De La Rue, one of the top currency printing companies, to print these new high security, lower denomination currency notes. We know they are there. We know they were paid for. They sure would not print all of these to keep it at the value it is now.